Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be previewing the biggest game this weekend and probably the biggest game these rivals have had in the last decade or so. When was the last time you saw Liverpool and Man United and saw your eyes light up as if it's going to be a thrilling game? Like, these teams have not been competing for the top four, rarely, and not even the title for the last 10 years, man. We would have to go all the way back to when Man United and Liverpool were playing back in the days of Rafa Benitez versus Alex Ferguson, when all you saw was Steven Gerrard snogging that camera. And literally Fernando Torres ripping Nemanja Vidic every single game. Well, those are my favourite memories as a Liverpool fan. But thank God, man, it's bigger than El Clasico. The biggest game in England is back. It's Liverpool versus Man United. Hopefully it's going to be a big game for everybody watching, and hopefully Liverpool wins at the end of the day. But in all seriousness, man, it's great to see Man United and Liverpool, the two biggest clubs in England, fighting for the title. I know we saw Man City win it. I know we saw Chelsea win the Premier League a few years ago, but it just doesn't feel the same. We saw it when Liverpool won the Premier League last year, how much it meant for them to break a generational curse, winning the first Premier League in 30 years. And now Man United are gunning, apparently, for the 21st Premier League. So everything is well and good within the world right now. So yes, I'm going to be previewing this game, but before I go into the game, make sure you already know what to do. Make sure to like, comment, and hit that big subscribe button right there. And make sure you guys give me your own opinions on who you think is going to win the game this weekend, because it seems like it's going to be a massive game for both teams. But before I go into my score predictions, I'm just going to talk about who I think this game is going to be bigger for. So on the offset, I think it's going to be bigger for Man United, man. Because Man United fans, obviously they're deluded. They already believe that number 21 is coming home. The 21st Premier League is going to come home, especially since the departure of Alex Ferguson. They're going to be restored back to greatness again. That's what they think. However, I don't believe that. And I don't even think the players necessarily believe that. But if they beat Liverpool, the current champions, the ones who've won the Champions League before in the last 2 to 3 years, you know what sort of belief that's going to do? That's going to be a statement game. And we've seen all these statement games across history. I remember watching Liverpool versus Man City, even though we didn't win the Premier League in 2014. And as a fan, I just started to believe that day. Seeing all the players hug Steven Gerrard around that centre circle, him shouting, "We can't let this slip." And I know we know what happened at the end of the day, but that was the first time I saw those players in those eyes believe that we can win the Premier League. Even Leicester back in 2016 when they beat Man City away in January, when Riyad Mahrez and Vardy ripped them apart to shreds that game. That's when I honestly thought that they believed that they could win the Premier League. Maybe this is going to be Man United's turn to start believing again that they could actually win the league. However, I do believe it has some sort of relevance for Liverpool FC, because we have been in dreadful form in the last 3 to 4 games. Salah and Mane can't really buy goals. I'm talking about the Premier League, not the FA Cup. But anyway, we've just been pathetic in front of goal, and honestly, that injury crisis, I'll get into that later on. But my overall belief about Liverpool, about how important this game is, I don't necessarily believe it's important for us, because we already know that we can win the Premier League, because we've proved it in the past. But I just want to put a massive dent in the spirits and the hearts of Man United fans. I want that dent to be put into those players to make sure that they believe that, oh yeah, there's actually other teams that exist, Liverpool and Man City, who have been sharing that trophy for the last 2 to 3 years. So if we can dampen their spirits and make sure that they do not believe that they can win the league, that will literally do a wonder of good for us as Liverpool fans. And I don't want people to underestimate the ability of actually destroying someone's title race beliefs, because literally this happened to Arsenal across history, especially in the 2010s decade. We saw it against Man United when Man United fielded a bunch of kids, Louis van Gaal, when they won 3-1 at Old Trafford, when Arsenal were destined to win the league. This is a real thing, making a statement to show that yes, there's other teams, and yes, you're still far away from the league and winning the title itself. These are actual statement games that Liverpool need to use to put their stamp on the league so far. However, I am not going to get carried away with myself. It's only been 19 games within the league, and we saw Man United lose 6-1 to Tottenham Hotspur, and everyone's saying, can they even qualify for Europe? So I'm not even going to literally say, oh, even if Man United win, they're going to win the league. Even if Liverpool win, I'm not going to get carried away with myself, because we won 7-0 against Crystal Palace away from home, and everyone was saying that, oh, Liverpool's back, they're just going to walk the league. And then what happens? We drew to West Brom, we lost to Southampton, we drew to another team, I forgot who it was, Fulham as well. So literally, like, I'm telling you, anything can happen within this league, and we've seen it already with so many results you've raised an eyebrow at and thinking, how the hell did that even happen? But yes, let me just go straight into the game, and I'm going to be talking about the most important aspects of this game. So the first major talking point that I'm going to talk about, it is absolutely crucial, and I think this is the most important talking point, it's Liverpool's defence. Like I said earlier, we are absolutely flooded with injuries at the back that we even had to put Henderson as centre-back. And I don't think he's ever played centre-back for Liverpool before, or maybe in his whole entire career. He ain't just like a James Milner who you can plug anywhere. But literally, if you saw how we ended that game, we had all those midfielders playing centre-back. And even though we have Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's supposed to be a right-back, he's been in such bad form that I think Rashford will be able to expose him, if necessary, on the counter-attack. Trent Alexander-Arnold has never ever been a great defender. However, his best way of defending was attacking the winger, dragging back the winger, so he literally has to help out the left back. So he literally wouldn't even have to be exposed the whole game and literally focus on defending, because we wouldn't have majority of the possession most of the game anyway. However, we have been getting dominated recently, especially against Fulham, and like teams have actually noticed that they can actually play football against us and expose us. However, the biggest worry is the fact that I don't even know who's going to play centre back this weekend. It's actually a shock, because Matip is not going to be fit in time, and even if he was, he would have probably pulled his hamstring by now. So I don't know if he's going to go for Reece Williams, who's shown that he can be mistake prone, like against Aston Villa. I saw that game, he got blitzed by that Aston Villa striker. Congratulations for scoring your first professional goal in that. But honestly, how the hell did he get blitzed by that 17 to 18-year-old? Even against West Brom, the goal was his mistake. Is Jurgen Klopp going to risk it and play Phillips at centre-back? He does look good, but he suits more of those aerial battles where he knows that he can literally push his striker right in front of him rather than them running in behind like Martial and Rashford. That's going to be a danger. I don't want to see him in 1v1 situations. So even if I was Jurgen Klopp, I have to hold my hand up and be like, I don't even know what he should do this weekend, because we do not have that many options at the centre-back position. The second talking point I'm going to be talking about is Man United's defence. I know Man United fans have been crying about that they need a new centre-back because Bailly's always injured and Maguire and Lindelof's not good enough. But I was thinking, you're top of the league, you should be happy with where you are. But then I did look at the goals against record, and they've actually conceded the most goals in the top 11 this season so far. I was genuinely surprised, thinking, how is that possible? And then obviously they lost to Spurs 6 goals, but even Liverpool lost 7 goals against Aston Villa, but we ain't even that bad so far, even with our depleted defence. So I'm thinking, Liverpool do have a chance to exploit the centre-backs. And when I thought about it longer and harder, Maguire may be the weak link in that centre-back pairing, especially because he can't be able to do those runs in behind. We saw this against Tottenham Hotspur when Son absolutely ripped them apart. Even against Burnley, like Maguire's game is literally tailor-made for tussles, elbows, strong headers, aerial bombardment. Like he can deal with all that type of stuff. Like against Burnley, like he looks a lot better than he actually is. But Maguire on Sunday is going to be different, because when you get the introverted strikers running at you every single time they have the chance, they're going to exploit you. We saw this with Mane and Salah, how they've been terrorizing the league in the last 2 or 3 years. You do not want to go against former Golden Boot winners, despite their poor form this season. I may add that it's their responsibility to actually take advantage of your poor weakness. But if we can do this, we will be able to score 2 to 3 goals potentially if we see the game out. Like Maguire did have a lot of mistakes in the game, and that's why Bailly is going to be so important against Liverpool, dealing with these Salah and Mane runs all the time in behind, because he has the pace, he has the strength, he always somehow gets blocks in, like we saw against Aston Villa in the dying embers of the game. This guy may be a little rash at sometimes, but he knows when to put his body on the line, and he knows to make good, decisive tackles when it truly matters. The third aspect and the last aspect of the game I'm going to be talking about is a midfield battle. And I'm very curious, I'm going to start with Man United here, even though they're the wayside, but I'm very curious what they're going to do. Because we've seen in the past against Man City and even PSG have success sitting both Fred and McTominay in that 2-man midfield to literally clear out any sort of balls, literally defend Maguire from not getting exposed, helping the defenders literally set up on the counter-attack. And literally, that type of football has worked in the past. And that's why even the neutral fans, they put their hand up, so like, Okay, we have to give it to Ollie, man, because even in the big games, he does get it right. Beat Man City home and away last season, beat Chelsea 3 times out of 4 times last season. Like, he does get it right, setting up on the counter attack. But the main talking point I'm thinking is, what is he going to do with Paul Pogba? Paul Pogba has been so outstanding against Aston Villa, even against Burnley the last game. Like, I can't even deny it. I think he's going to drop off soon, but let Man United fans have their fun in it. But although he has been playing well, where is he going to put him? Because he loves putting McTominay and Fred in that two-man midfield. Fernandes is always going to play in cam. Is Pogba going to be struck out of the left again? But when you play against more dangerous oppositions, you're going to have to do a lot of defending. Trent Alexander-Arnold ain't going to let you rest Paul Pogba. So what are you going to do? And we saw Paul Pogba do his defensive responsibilities against Arsenal. And what did he do? He gave away that penalty. Yes, on that left-hand midfield, he does have a trick or two to get past players or pass inside or literally drift about and cause havoc within the midfield. But when it comes to defending, I don't know what he's going to be able to do because he does not look comfortable. He looks a little bit clumsy on that side. So I don't know if Ollie's going to make a massive decision and drop Pogba, which I don't think he'll do because so many Man United fans and pundits are going to criticise him for that, not playing this informed player. But he's in the catch-22 because not playing Pogba in these big games has given him so much success. So what does this manager actually do? I feel a bit sorry for him because if I feel like it was up to him, he wouldn't want to play him. To be honest, it's going to be a tough game. I don't think it's going to be like in recent years where I felt always confident going to Old Trafford or them coming to Anfield. But at the end of the day, I know Liverpool have been in such poor form, but we've been undefeated for like 65, 66 games at home, and we're still the Premier League champions, so teams better show us some respect and think that we're not going to get thrashed in this game. But at the end of the day, Man United have improved. They're top of the league for a reason at the moment. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 Liverpool victory. I just think we're going to be up for this game, man, because this is the biggest game in England. We know they're higher than us right now. We have a point to prove. This may be the catalyst to get our season started again, beating one of the best teams in the league right now in Man United. So I think we're going to win 2-1. I think Maguire's either going to make a mistake, Pogba's either going to make a mistake. There's going to be a lapse in concentration. It is important to add, even though we do not have a great defence right now, and Man United do have the opportunity of a lifetime to exploit it and literally score many goals, I just don't think Rashford's clinical enough. We saw against Burnley, he didn't have a great game. We saw in the previous games, who will literally be hot one game and be like, wow, he's one of the best youngsters in the world right now, worth 150 million, which people are rating him, I don't even know why. And the next game he'll turn into a player where you don't even recognise him. Is he even a Premier League footballer? But I trust Salah and Mane to take advantage of those poor defenders at Man United because they have shown and they've proven across their career that they can score important goals when it really matters. So I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. Hopefully, let's speak that into existence. But yes, we'll see at the end of the day.